In this game, assaults can be a lot of fun, but they can also be extremely frustrating. Because sure, they have a lot of armor and generally a lot of firepower, but a lot of the times you are the slowest thing on the battlefield, so you have to really be able to plan out your position ahead of time, and if you pick wrong, then you're gonna die.
With snow?
So after going through a number of assault mechs and just dying horribly every time, uh, I decided something smaller was in order.
But you're right.
The Urbanmech was kind of a joke in the tabletop game, as I've mentioned before, and then the devs gave it very strong armor bonuses and a few other quirks to really help it overperform. So it went from a joke to being pretty strong, and it also is kind of a fun alternative to assault mechs.
New target.
You know, I mean, they still have a lot of armor for being a 30-ton mech. It's just that, you know, they also get a lot of the mobility of the smaller mechs. And they can generally mount some sort of significant ballistic weapon, as well as, you know, some energy weapons to go with it. And they also have jump jets, so generally they're just a lot of fun to play.
No target. Acquired.
So again, you know, I had just gone out and died horribly with a lot of assaults, and decided to just take this instead. Now, I ran into an assault here, again, looking at the 100-tonners, my thing. When you're facing an Annihilator, a lot of times the best thing you can do is take off a side torso. And I saw early on that his left side torso was already yellow, so I was going to try to finish taking off that side. You know, I mean, that gets rid of a lot of their firepower when you do that. And so someone has taken off that left side, and now the right side, so this guy is just about dead.
Target discovered. New target acquired.
And the LB5 that I'm shooting is not doing a lot of good against light mechs, you know, especially when they still have armor on all their components. But it's got such a high rate of fire, and I have pretty good ammo, so I don't mind, you know, just spamming a few shots, even if they're not doing much good.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
But here I see a much, much better target, you know, a one-legged marauder that's ready to lose a side torso. And again, going back to just how, you know, heavily quirked this this mech is, you know, I stare at this marauder for quite a while, and I don't take significant damage. Unfortunately, I started off shooting the wrong side torso, so it took a minute for him to lose his other torso. And here I'm just going for that remaining side torso. I probably should have gone for the CT, and that's most likely why I didn't get the kill. But here I dropped down along with one of our assaults. I was initially going to go left with him, but I decided to just go ahead and keep chasing those enemies on the other side of the canyon. Of course, you're still a light, so you don't have, you know, just unlimited armor. So I'm kind of taking the long way to get there and getting stuck on the terrain in the process. And again, doing some, you know, only vaguely productive shooting.
Target spotted.
New target acquired.
Now this Mad Dog's actually a fairly dangerous target for me. I mean, that many SRM6s will do serious damage to my mech. So I'm not sure why I went after this guy, other than just the fact that he was in fairly bad shape. But fortunately, he really ignores me until it's too late.
Target discovered. New target acquired.
Let's go from coming
And I did something I mentioned in the Atlas video. You know, I was kind of blocking that ramp there, and I really should have moved the hell out of the way. I didn't hear anyone voice comms or anyone complaining, so I guess they got around me okay. But this target, again, I'm a light mech, so people will turn their backs on you more than they will larger targets. So I'm guessing that's why that Hellbringer just sort of ignored me. thankfully he's already occupied, and I'm about to kill his buddy.
New target acquired. Torso critical.
I've heard a lot of people say that it's fine to run a Corsair with an extra light engine. Um, I hate the idea of running assaults with an extra light, just because as an assault I want to be one of the tankiest things on the battlefield, and so I'm not sure that it's worth it. I've seen some good loadouts for the Corsair. One in particular was I think a couple of Gauss rifles, a couple of large lasers, a couple of mediums, with quad AMS on the 7A, and it's a good loadout, and it basically does require an XL engine, but I don't really think it's worth the trade-off.
New target.
In any case, someone blew off my right arm, which is where my LB5 is located, and so I'm down to very little firepower, and I'm open in the CT. And this match has just been incredibly close for a while now. So I'm trying to basically just survive, do the light thing. I'm not super speedy for a light, only 97 kph. But I want to just keep moving around, keep harassing, try and survive.
At 25%. Fuel at 0.
And thankfully, while I'm doing that, this crab that has also survived, Zergos 92, has been racking up the kills. So the enemy shuts down, Zergos takes advantage of it. So serious props to Zergos there. He really came through for us in the end when it was just me and him. I mean, I did, pretty well. 4 kills, 466 damage, 6 components. And when I get to the next screen, you'll see that between Zergos and I, we killed 2/3 of the enemy team. And he outscored everyone, every assault on both teams. So lots of great work by that guy, and just a really fun finish to this match.